Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good noon, good day, and everything is good around you, my fellow subscriber. Thank you so much for watching me today. And usually, as for I don't know what day is it, I'm already lost. It's a new review about UFO 50. Normally, it's a good thing where the talented designers like Spelunky created Derek Q release a new game every few years. In case of UFO 50, however, there are 50 different titles that he created together with 5 developer friends over the course of 9 years and are now releasing together onto the market. During my initial viewing of the lavish game collection, two unpleasant thoughts kept creeping into my head. At some point, one of these games has to be bad. After all, the number is UFO 50 represents the size of the catalog on offer. This can be possible only be winners, right? Especially with such a diversity of different genres, which include arcade shooters, platformers, racing games, RPG, strategy games, and even a goddamn first-person point-and-click horror game waiting for you to discover. But, apologize, but UFO 50 manages the impossible. Without exception, every game in this package is a success. Of course, personal preferences dictate which titles you gravitate towards. For example, I'm not being a big fan of complex strategy games with troop and resources management. Nevertheless, I can also appreciate the innovative setting of aviations, those world is populated only by birds after a nuclear war who worship dinosaur gods for gameplay bonuses or for the start of each round in medieval battles. Literally every single game offers a twist like this. Even an obviously Pocky and Rocky inspired Alphazar's Hunt combines classic top-down shooter gameplay with a card system. Enemies and objects drop symbols that, when matched in various combinations of 3, give you permanent upgrades until you die. And that's one of the simple ideas. I really can't stress how often smaller design decisions amazed and delighted me. With 15 games, I expect a few isolated games in a mass of minor niceties. Instead, UFO 50 is the definition of all killer, no filter. So the magic of the UFO 50 unfolds even before you select the first game. At the start, you are greeted by an intro sequence accompanied by drum and bass chiptune music, which tells a fictional story using pixelated images. While the project is actually the result of 9 years of hard work, the 6 core developers, including Derek Q and Ojiro Fumoto, introduced themselves as the UFO 50 recovery team. UFO 50 is supposed to be the collection of the imagery company UFOsoft with its equally fiction's LX computer system on which the eponymous 50 games were released between 1982 and 1989. This spectacle is not broken at any point. You won't find the real developer names anywhere outside of the intro. Instead, fiction's names fly across the screen in the credits of the respective games, whose portfolio you can follow chronologically in the collection. Since some titles and direct suspensions of spiritual sequels to earlier games, it actually makes sense which fiction's people will involved in certain developments. Each of the 50 modules can be selected right at the start, also contains a small anecdotal text about the history of the game creation of Morcadon. Even the official name change to UFOsoft can be traced, including logos that have changed over the 3 years. But, not only the 3 years, or the years generally, but the team has not only set clear rules for the participation, the games also follow this setting. After all, the LX system they invented as hardware from 80s has a 32 color limitation and an international resolution of 3084 and 2016 pixels, which means it scales perfectly to 1080. Although all 50 titles share these parameters, you can see an integrational graphic change over the course of bibliography. An Impact released in 1983 is much more reduced on its choice of colors with clunky sprites, while a Campanella 3 from 1899 gets the full performance out of the system and even boasts pseudo 3D elements. The influence of the controller is even stronger. 2 buttons of the digital for maximum of 8 directions. A start button only takes you to the collection overall menu. All games follow this restriction. What may sound like extreme to some force the team to focus their games on the essentials. As a result, you won't find any superfluous mechanics in the collection. After all, every extension of abilities has to be well thought on when there are only 2 buttons available in addition to control the pad. Double assignment is possible in some cases leads to interesting design decisions. Star Waspier, for example, is a shoot 'em up based on the classic 3-button structure. In jumps of this type, you have 2 different shots and bombs to clear the screens of enemies. But how do you implement this system with just 2 buttons? One activates the bombs and the other takes over both types of shots. If you hold the button down, the weak both far-reaching spray shots turns into a compact, much stronger version. Since you cannot immediately switch to the concentrated shot with this variant, you have to act with foresight in order to clear the field as quickly and safely as possible. It may be a small detail, but it is precisely these kinds of decisions that show a very deep understanding of chosen genres. The limitation inspired by retro games does not mean that UFO 50 ignores modern science. The Sokoban puzzle Black Koala uses its 2 free buttons to take away your fear of making mistakes. I'd delete the last input you made or call a menu that allows you to restart or exit the level directly. Checkpoints or the clumsiest of your characters are specifically adapted depending on the title. In Pain Chase, you have to complete all 25 levels in one go and only receive additional lives for achieving certain target. Word Tank, on the other hand, places you at the last checkpoint, no matter how many attempts you need. It also sells between the rails. Raksha, on the other hand, theoretically gives you an unlimited lives, but after you die, it challenges you to a minigame that increasingly difficult with each death. If you fail, you have to start the game over. Since you can choose freely from all of your games from the start, UFO 50 measures your progression throughout special achievements. If you reach the end credits of the title, the respective title is considered beaten and the module turns gold. In addition, you have to be a set high score, for which you receive a sherry as recognition. This can be reaching a set of number of points of completing it with a certain time, but one thing always remains the same. It means completely mastering the respective game, and I can only guess how long a person needs to complete it. If you want to get everything out of this collection, you'll end up at playing time over 100 hours. And I haven't even mentioned the hidden secrets which I don't want to spoil you for there. Really, there has been more games in one game for you than UFO 50. I could easily spend dozens of paragraphs and minutes discussing individual titles. Ham Knight Manor captivated me with minimalistic horror despite static images, and the other things. So let's get straight to the business. So UFO 50, I never experienced a game like this my entire life. A playful concept album, a 9-year-long game jam. No matter how ultimately classified, UFO 50 is a success across the board, a masterpiece that will probably remain unique in its form for a long time. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to rate, like, comment, please subscribe. Oh yeah. Bye.